Hello, so today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a maze game on Scratch. First, you have to download the resources to PNGs that we're going to be using for today's project, and the link to those are going to be on the slide behind this one. So start off by going to the top right corner and press on the search button, and then type Scratch until that comes up, and the first option should be Scratch. If it isn't, use the arrow keys to navigate. Once it's highlighted, hit enter. Now it will start opening. Make it on full screen. We'll start by deleting sprite 1, and we're going to be press this paint sprite button to make a new one, and we're gonna change it from bitmap mode to vector mode. This is really important, or else you're going to get into a mess. So first, select the circle. This is going to be delete that circle. Make sure that when you're making the circle, it's going to be selected on this hard one, not the hollow one. So make sure it's selected like that. So the button you make is full, not just empty, and not just an outline. And if you're not happy with the size after you've done it, resize it with these. So I'm happy with that size. So then I'm going to click on this T for text. So click on it, and then click on it to swap the colors, and click where you want the text. So I'm going to want it here, and then I'm going to type start. So now we've done the first costume of the start sprite, and now we're going to right click on this and press duplicate. Now we're going to press the fill button, make sure this is white, and fill the background. And then click on the text button and edit this text, highlight it, and then click the swap button. So now we have inverse costumes. Now we're going to duplicate this sprite, and we're going to edit the text. Make sure it's selected on T. Edit the text and make it say quit for both the costumes. And now we're going to edit the backdrop. So for backdrop 1, we're going to want to select this rectangle, or actually select the fill, and select a grayish color. Don't select a black, select the one next to the black, the darkest color that's not black. And then just rectangle the whole thing. So just click on that, and go to sprite 1, make sure it's on the black one, and drag them to where you want them. So I'm going to want my start button here, and my quit button maybe a bit under it. Yeah, there. I like that. And now we have our start button, our background, and our quit button. Now we're going to be adding the UN. So once you've downloaded them, remember where you've downloaded them, whether it's your desktop. I've got them on my desktop, the UN PNG and the maze PNG. So now I'm going to press this button, upload sprite from file. So I'm going to go to my desktop because that's where I've put it. If you've downloaded it, it's probably going to come in your downloads. You could just search it. So here's the maze. We're going to upload the maze first. So open, click on it and press open. So this might be hard to move. Try and click on where the blue line is, and then you'll be able to move it. And at the top of the screen, there's a grow and a shrink. Arrows pointing inward are shrink, and arrows pointing outward are grow. Click on the shrink and make sure that you've got it exactly pointing on the blue so that it actually works. This is a PNG, So yeah, I've made this so that it's only the blue maze that's showing and not a white background. And I've made this using Photoshop, this maze. And then just click on it. If that doesn't work and it just goes to your normal mouse, that means you probably missed it. Click on the shrink again and just keep trying. It's not going to take that long. So just try, just all you need is to shrink it twice. So I've shrunk it once. Oh yeah, there's my twice. Now I could just click on this gray, and now I can move it around if I click on the blue. I'm going to want to put it there. Yeah, there. And then I'm going to add a new sprite from library. So click on that. And you can do anything maybe shaped like a baseball or whatever you want to be the character moving through the maze. So I'm going to choose a football just because I like football. And then click OK. And now you have the football. Shrink it until you think it's the perfect size to go through your maze. Remember, when this ball touches the edges of the maze, it's going to reset to the beginning, which is here. So I think I should shrink it one more time. Yeah, I think that's good. So yeah, that's good. And okay, so the next step, you're going to want to go to your start button. Let's make the start button first. For the start button, you're going to want to go to events, and then when I receive, and then click on this down arrow, new message, and let's just name it start. When I receive start, we're going to go to looks, and then get the hide. And then go back to events, and when this green flag is clicked, so this is the green flag, which indicates that we're going to start the game once clicked. When that's clicked, forever, if my mouse, so we're going to go if, and then else. So if sensing, if my start button is touching the mouse pointer, then switch, so looks, switch costume to costume, and then check your costumes. It's by default the black one. It should be. You can do whatever colors you want, but then put it to the other one. So mine's costume 1 and 2. So switch to costume 2. Else, so when my mouse isn't touching it, it's going to go back to costume 1. So I'm gonna start it. So when my mouse is touching the sprite, it switches from the black background to the white background and the black text to the white text. So it's just changing contrast. So we can just drag this over to the quit section, and the quit will do the same thing. So let's just get rid of that, show it, just so that it would work. Yeah, so they both do the same thing right now once you drag this to there. Okay, so we don't need this show and hide right now, so we can get rid of it. So let's go to the maze. Actually, let's go to the football. We're gonna make the controls for the football. Let's just do it the arrow keys, because most people like arrow keys, and usually it's WASD for famous big games, but right now it's just a maze game, so we can use the arrow keys. So events, and then when the flag is clicked, forever, if, without the else, so if, and then sensing, we wanted to know what key we're pressing, so if the key up arrow is pressed, then motion, change Y by just 1. So y-axis is the height, so if it's +1, it's going to go 1 higher. If it's -1, it's going to go 1 lower. And the x +1, it's going to go right. -1, it's going to go left. It's basically just like a graph. So it's going to add 1 to where the ball already is in relation to y. So let's test that. Press the green and then up arrow. Yeah, it's moving. Yes, drag it down. We don't have any other controls. And now we can duplicate this and make it down arrow. And then just go right behind the 1. Or just backspace the 1 and write a -1. So that's a -1. So press the green button. You can go up and down, but we still haven't made the right and left. So then we're going to duplicate that again, but now we're going to be using the x-axis. Change x-axis by 1. So it's going to go to the right. And we can duplicate that and change it by -1. And left arrow, it's going to go left. And now you can click that again. And now test our controls. And they're working perfectly. So now we'll move on to the next step. So now we are going to program the ball so that when we hit space, it will return to its original position, which is going to be here. So drag it to your starting position that you'd want it to be, and look at this over here. Make sure it's the football or whatever you've chosen, and the x is going to be, this is my x and this is my y. So we're going to make it, we're going to duplicate one of these. So let's just duplicate this one and make it so that when the space button is pressed, then the position of the ball goes to, so go to -12. It's by default where the sprite you're editing is. So if this moves here, the go to changes, but I'm going to put it back to its starting position and then take a new go to. That's where I want my starting position. Okay, so now we have that. We can test it. So I'm moving around randomly, and then I could just press space. Well, that doesn't work. Oh, there. It's just that I didn't press the green button. Okay, so now that when we move everywhere, and then we press space because we want to restart, we can just go space and it will go there. So now we'll move on to the next step. So start should be a button. So when we press start, so when this sprite clicked, we're going to go to events. First we have to go to start, events. When this sprite clicked, we're going to set size, so that's looks, set size to 85% of its original size. And then wait 1 second, yeah. And then we're gonna set it back to its original size. So set size back to 100%. And then wait half a second, so 0.5 seconds. And we're gonna go to events and then broadcast, press the down arrow, new message, I'm gonna make it start. Okay, so now we are going to make a new background for the finish line over here. So let's go to stage, click on it and press backdrops. Now we're going to select this convert to vector, and then we're going to select the square here so we can make a rectangle or any shape, and then we're going to select maybe something like green or whatever you want your finish line to be. So we're just going to test it out until that is going to be something around here so that it's a finish line. So I'm just going to keep dragging it until I think it's good. So yeah, I'll keep going. Oh nope, too much. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So now that when the ball goes to the green, it's gonna display a new sprite. So we're gonna go here and upload a new sprite, uwin.png. Okay. So first we have to make it so that when this green button's clicked, the uwin sign is gonna hide. So I'm gonna go to looks and just hide, so that when this is clicked, it's hidden. And we need to do that for the maze too. So events, when this is clicked, also hide. And then we also need to do that for the ball, so we'll just drag it. So click it, and now everything is hidden. But what about this green thing? So now we have to go to stage, okay, and then duplicate this. Select your backdrop color, original, and just select this rectangle thing, and just drag the whole thing. Even though you're not gonna see the line, you could just drag and it will work. So like this. It doesn't have to be the whole way, as long as you're just covering your finish line, that would work. So backdrop 2, it should be the original one. So when the start is clicked, so let's go to the start. We're gonna switch, so go to looks, switch backdrop to backdrop. Let's see which backdrop we're on. We're on backdrop 2, and that's the one without the finish line, but when we press the start button, it should swap. So green. Okay, so start, and now this is here. So that was meant to happen, and now we'll move on to the next step. So the next step is going to be, when we click R, it's going to go back to the home screen. So when, and then forever, when flag is clicked, forever, and then sensing, key, and we're going to get the if also, if then, and put the key inside the if, and change the space to R, because that's the letter we want to trigger this, R. Then it will show the start button because it's going back to this state without the green. So it's gonna show the start button. Let's go to looks and show. And it's also gonna switch back to the gray without the finish line, and that's stage backdrop. That's backdrop 2. So we will go back, yeah, and then switch backdrop to backdrop 2. So now, if we click R, the green thing goes away, which is our finish line, and the start button shows. So now, we're just gonna add a new event, which is when that's clicked again. We're just gonna switch to backdrop 2, looks, switch backdrop to backdrop 2, just so that when we click it, it's already by default has a gray button, a gray background. Okay, so now we are going to make the quit button. So the quit button is going to be really similar to this. So we're going to be dragging this all the way here. And that should have arrived, yeah. And now it should, if we click R, wait, yeah, and now we'll go on to the next step. Just one quick thing we have to do. This is one of the most common blocks. We're going to be using it a lot today. When the flag is clicked, then show. So that when you click this, these two buttons have to show because it's the main menu. So, yeah. And then we're going to be needing this for later. So when I receive, we're going to make a new message. Quit. Okay, so now I'm going to put this there. And we're going to put that there too. But then delete it from quit. We'll delete the other one from quit. And now we're going to actually do the quit. So when this, we're going to go back to start and we're going to put this to quit because quit's going to do the same. So now that it's here, we're going to put it here. And instead of broadcasting start when we press it, it's going to broadcast quit, which is the message we made a bit earlier. Okay, so when you click quit, it's going to broadcast a message to everything saying quit, but it's not going to switch to backdrop 1. It's going to stay the same backdrop. So that. And so when we press quit, we're going to program it to do what we want. So when I receive quit, we can put under it what we want it to do here. So when I receive quit in the start area, when I receive quit, it's just gonna hide. So looks, hide. It's just gonna disappear when you receive quit. So start just disappeared. I'm gonna do the same thing here. So you can just drag it. Okay. So we can click the quit button and they both are hidden. And then we can click that again and they'll both show up. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next step. So now we have to make it so that when we click the start button, quit hides and start hides, but then the maze shows and the bowl shows so that the game can actually start. We can do that by going to start, and then when it will broadcast start so that quit can hide. This is used for triggering other sprites. So it will broadcast start, and quit will hide. So when I receive start events, when I receive start, it's gonna hide. And then when I receive start, we're gonna duplicate this. It's also gonna hide. So start. And look, this green thing comes up. So yeah, so when we press start, we're also gonna go to the maze and do when I receive start, I'll show myself. So show. And the bowl too. So we'll just drag it. So now we can reset it. Start. Both of them will hide and the maze will show. And now we can control it. But is this really a maze if we can go through the walls? No, I don't think so. And when I press R, the maze is still there. So we can go back to the area we made start in. So the start is, here. And we'll move on to the next step. So we can go here to the maze. This is the next step. And events. When this is clicked, forever. If, and then. So if, then. So if sensing, the R is pressed, letter R is pressed, so let's go down. Yeah. Then the maze is gonna hide because it's going back to the main menu. And we don't want this to show up. So we're gonna go to looks and hide. So now when you start and press R, the maze will hide, but not the bowl. So we can drag this to the bowl, and now it's copied onto the bowl. We'll press start, and then press R. It's all resetted. So when we press start, everything's working fine except for the wall thing. When we press R, it resets, and the quit hides everything successfully, and the R puts it back. So if we press start, Now we've got to fix the part where we can go through everything. Space button works where it resets you. So now we're going to do this. So when the flag is clicked, so always when the flag is clicked, this is basically the starting point of the game, just to activate everything. So when that is clicked, it's gonna make sure that forever, in any case, it's always checking if sensing touching color. So we're gonna change that color after. Yeah. We can click here, and now we can select the color and make sure that these lines are really thin, so you can keep moving the mouse while looking over here because it shows you what color is being selected, and then you can click when you're ready. So I'm just going to keep moving it until I find a blue. Yeah, there. And then I'll click when I get onto a blue. Yeah, there. So now I've got a blue. So now if touching color blue, then it's going to set the ball. So I'm going to go to the ball and find out its coordinates. So I'm going to go to the ball. Oh, this is on the start sprite. Sorry, drag this to the ball. And you can delete this. So right click and delete. So go to the ball, it could be here. And then coordinates are here. So forever, if it's touching that color, then you can go to motion. And then go to, and then X colon, Y colon. Put that under. And it's already by default minus 210, 157. So this is what's going to happen. So I'm going around and then I accidentally, oh, if touching color blue, then goes. Wait, 1 second. Yeah, it should be working. Scratch sometimes glitches like this. If that happens to you, you can re-click the color and try and select another color like that one. Maybe they're different shades sometimes, but that isn't the case here because I just hit the bit that I selected and it isn't working well. So okay guys, I discovered that simple problem. I just didn't click the green button again. So start, and I didn't change anything. It's still the same. I can move around and then I just get teleported back every time I hit something. And let's just skip the whole maze. So I'll show you if the final part. If I go on the green, I need to win. So we're gonna do forever again. Forever. So events when flag clicked, forever. If then, so if sensing touching color, and then click on it, select green, select green, and then if it's touching that, we're gonna go to events and then broadcast, and then we're gonna make a new message, win. So that's a win. So if you win the game, it's gonna broadcast that. And then go to the you win that you added. When I receive win, then show. But then you want it so that if he presses space, it disappears so that you go back. So let's just test out what we've done so far. Oh, because I was touching the thing. Let's just fix that. Yeah, there. Start. Oh, it's touching. Let's just move out the way. There. Yeah, we won. Let's just make that a bit bigger. So go to the big grow button and then just keep clicking it until you're happy. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's just drag it to the side. Yeah. So now we'll move on to the near final step. Okay, near final step. When R is clicked, this has to disappear because we're resetting. So again, I'm gonna bring forever and the if then and this, and yeah, we're just gonna arrange them. Forever if, and then sensing key R. Let's go back to R again. Yeah, R. Then hide. Make sure you're on the UN because that's the hide. You're gonna want to hide it. And we're gonna duplicate that so that when the space key is pressed, because you're resetting, so R. Oh, okay. Win the game. R. And then start again. Still 1. R. And we'll test the space now. Yeah, it worked. So we want it so that when R is pressed, so when this is clicked forever, or you can just duplicate that. When R is clicked, then the UN will go away. So when R is clicked, hide, that's what that does. And yeah, so R, and we want it so that when R is pressed, this goes back to its original state. So when R is pressed, we'll go drag it there, get rid of it here. Yeah, so when R is pressed, then motion, go to, and then it's by default the ball's coordinates. So let's try it. Start. R. Wait, no, it was already. Let's just go through a bit of it. Okay, so it's here right now, and then we'll press R, start it, and it's back to the old position. Okay, so now we're going to be going through the last and final step. So one of the last and final steps is just testing it. Let's restart. So these two work. Quit button we haven't seen in a long time. Works. If we press the R, they both show up. So we can press start. We can just go around. If we hit a blue, it'll still go. Yeah, so we can. And that works well. And space will return it to its original position. If I go somewhere and then press R and then press start again, it will turn to its original position. And say the ball is, oh, let's go back to the editors. Say the ball's here. Then it will display you win. Press R, it will go away. So to me, works perfectly. So yeah, that's how you make a maze game. Thank you.